Hi kiddos, we're going to talk about characterization today. There was a lot of confusion with the homework when I asked some questions about characterization. Some of you didn't quite know how to answer, so I'm hoping that I can clear some of this up. So the first thing we have to do when we're talking about characterization is, why in the world is the author writing this? So there are three different ways that most authors write. The purpose for it. And the author's purpose, also called authorial intent, what a fancy word. It's the reason that an author composed his or her work. And as I said, there are three ways, main ways. They may overlap sometimes, but it is as easy as pie. Number one, they may be writing to persuade. What does that mean? You know what it means. They're trying to get you to do something or believe what they're saying. Another thing that they do, so P, persuade, I, inform. They're trying to inform you, to give you info about a topic. And then last but not least, E, entertain. Pie, get it? P-I-E, pie. We have pie, not only in math, but we have it in reading too. But entertain. But entertain is to tell you the story that you'll enjoy, hopefully. So most of the writing that we have in our textbooks are to entertain. So you've been reading several stories, and we've been entertained, hopefully. Now, some of our stories have been not only to entertain, but they have a moral to it. And what's a moral? A moral is some kind of truth for life. So they want you to learn something and apply it to your life. Now, that means that the author has to consider their audience. Who am I writing to? So we need to think about that. So the author's purpose, why are they writing this? Are they trying to inform me of something? Do they want me to learn something? Do they want me to laugh? Okay, and most of our stuff that we've been doing, like Pleasing All the World and the Magic Brocade, and let me see, what are you doing in the other class? Those are all the mythological stories in there that we're doing. And in those, once again, there's a purpose for it. Now, the main thing that I wanted to talk about was characterization. So when an author decides what his intention is, then he has to decide who can deliver this message the best. Who is going to deliver this message? So they start thinking about their characters and how they're going to develop those characters. And it's not only what the character wears and what the character does, but what is that character's personality? And those we call character traits. Now, the character traits are the personality of the character. What is the personality of the character? What are their habits? It could be what they're wearing, but it could be what they do too. But not only do we have to think about what they're wearing and what they do, but we have to ask ourselves, why in the world are they doing it? So, what motivates this character and their actions, and why do they do what they do? So, that leads us into our characters and the types of characters we have. So, when the author is choosing his characters, he's thinking about who is going to best deliver my message. Now, remember that when they think about their characters and what they're going to choose, not only do they think about the role of the character, and the role is the part that the character plays in the story, but they also think about the quality of that character. So what kind of character is this person going to be? It's a lot to think about. Now, if we're thinking about roles of characters, most of the time we think about protagonist and antagonist. And without these two protagonist and antagonist. We really don't have a story. So what does the protagonist do? Well, a lot of times we refer to him as the hero. But the protagonist is in the story, and they're the main character that the story centers around. And then we have the antagonist. And the antagonist, guess what he's doing? He's coming against that protagonist. Now, we have a special situation in The Revolt of Mother. Now, in The Revolt of Mother, our main protagonist is, guess who? The mom, Sarah Penn. And the antagonist is Adeniram, her husband. But he's not your normal antagonist. He's not a bad guy. He's not a villain. He's just antagonizing his wife. Shame, shame, shame. When mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. You know what I'm talking about. RJ, pay attention. Look over here. Daniel Howard, put that book down. Pay attention. Victoria, stop talking. Put that donut down. You know who I'm talking to now. Are you paying attention now? So we talk about the roles that the character plays. And there's more than just the protagonist and antagonist. Now, I am going to quickly go through types of antagonist and protagonist. But are other types of characters other than antagonist and protagonist. But keep in mind, this is not important. Still pay attention. So, you know those characters that they are almost as important as the main character? Like in the case of The Revolt of Mother, that would be Father. He's an antagonist. But he's also what we could call a deuteragonist. I have no idea how to say that. But anyway, they're not the main character, but they're just really close to it. And then you have tertiary characters, and sometimes we call them tertiagonist. We're not doing these just because I can't pronounce them. I'm just kidding. No, it's just not that important. But just so you know, there can be love interest. There can be confidants. Confidants are people that they confide in. Which in the case of The Revolt of Mother, that might be Nan. Nan, her mom confides in her quite a bit. And then we have the foil. Now, the foil is important. The foil character is another character in the story whose personality or traits are in direct contrast to another character's. So, like if you do Star Trek, Kirk and Spock, yeah, they foil each other. Like Captain Kirk, he reacts in his feelings and his emotions, whereas Spock, he doesn't have any feelings or emotions. If you haven't seen the Star Trek stuff, don't worry about it. We're moving on. Okay, so we talk about the roles of a character, but then we have the quality of the character, and this is where we all get confused. Okay, this is what you need to know. This is like, if I could compare it to anything, this is like a boxing match. So, I have in my first corner, in my first event, you know how there's always like 2 events at these boxing matches, So in one corner, we have round characters. Bing, bing, bing. In the other corner, we have flat characters. Bong, bong, bong. Now, round characters are characters that we have a lot of information about. We know about how they dress, how they talk. We know where they're going, what they're doing, and we know why. A flat character, we don't know a lot about them. So, for instance, in The Revolt of Mother, that may be Sammy. We don't know a lot about him. We just kind of know about what age, but we're not sure. We just know he's their kid, and he's just bebopping his way through life. It's Jude. It's Jude Brooks. That was good, Rachel. High five me. Okay. The other kind that we have, so round and flat, that is one event, okay? Not really event. That's one set of qualities. Okay, then our other set of qualities are dynamic and static. Dynamic, ding, ding, ding. Static, stay the same. Dynamic, they change. Static, they stay the same. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that a dynamic character is like popping and bopping. I mean, it just means that that character's personality changes within the course of the story. They do something that's out of character. For instance, Sarah Penn, she loves her husband. She loves her family. She submits to her husband and she tries not to get in arguments with him. But he antagonizes her. And she gets upset because instead of building her a house, he builds another barn. You know, her husband, he's like at the beginning of the story, I don't care. But then what happens? We think he's going to be a static character and just stay the same. But his wife, and what a good wife she is, finally wins him over. And he becomes a dynamic character because he changes and he accepts, you know, I need to love my wife a little bit better than my cows and horses. But a static character would be maybe Nan, because Nan doesn't change throughout the story. She pretty much stays the same. She is just sweet and loving and kind. And that's Nan for you. Okay, so now if I am in one of the other classes and I have read the story, what's that one where the kid drives his dad's chariot and burns up in flames? Now that kid is static. He's a round character because we know a lot about him, but he's a static character because he doesn't change. He doesn't change. He doesn't change his mind, even though his dad is like, dude, you're gonna die. He's like, no, I am your son, and I'm going to fly this chariot through the sky. And light up the stars, light up the stars. Okay, now, so let's go over this one more time. Characterization. So, characterization is the way an author represents a character in writing. He gives them certain traits. The traits are the personality of that character. If we know a lot about those traits, we call that character round. If we don't know a lot about that character, we call him flat. Now, if that character changes throughout the story in their personality, then we call them dynamic. If the character does not change in their personality, we call them flat.
No, that's
I hope that helped. Give me a text or shoot me an email and let me know.